Hey, want to know how to do QA testing in the cloud? How does Pokeman GO scale to millions of requests? And why is the next generation of application security needed? Find out the answers to these and all other end-to-end full-stack pipeline, DevOps, automation testing, performance testing, security testing in this episode of the Test Guild News Show for the week of October 31st. So grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea and let's do this. This episode of the Test Guild News Show is sponsored by the awesome folks at Applitools. If you don't know, Applitools is the next generation test automation platform, which is powered by visual AI. It really works. I've used it myself. It helps increase quality, accelerate delivery, and reduce costs with the world's most intelligent test automation platform. But seeing is believing, so create your free account now by clicking on the link down below. And while you're there, make sure to like, leave a comment, and share, and subscribe to get alerted every time I release a new episode. First up, automation news. This first article that reached my desk is all about QA testing in the cloud. It's a trend I've been seeing more and more about, and it talks about the evolution of apps of QA at a company called Azimo. So this is the fifth in a series of blog posts in which they outline their multi-years experience with Android app testing. Most of the principles, goals, and achievements apply to iOS apps as well. It's a really good breakdown of a real world scenario of what happened as they try to scale their automation for their mobile applications, how to reduce flakiness, and the test lab setup that they had that worked for them, test analysis, a whole bunch of really good information related to QA testing in the cloud. So if you do anything with QA testing and you want to know how to do more in the cloud or how to make a transition to the cloud and how it can help your mobile testing efforts, definitely check out this article in the links down below. This next article comes your way via LinkedIn. It's actually an older article, but actually the author republished it on LinkedIn. And I think it's a really critical topic, especially if you're new to automation. How do you prepare your QA teams for test automation? So in this article, Julia goes over a bunch of things like determine the goal and share the strategy with your team, how to identify team roles and responsibilities, training time, how to support your team. And I said the article was written, I believe, in May, but I didn't see it in May because Julia just reposted it now, and that's what caught my attention. It's just a really well-written article, and it's a real-world article because Julia is a hands-on automation engineer, and she's actually in charge of training at her company, so she knows what she's talking about. So definitely check out that article, and if you're not already, definitely give Julia a follow as well. So I recently covered in a previous news show how Postman released a report on the state of API testing for 2021. What it would be like if you actually had that breakdown, though, from a tester's perspective. And that's actually what this next author did. Beth Marshall released a new blog post that actually takes that report and breaks it down from a tester's perspective. And she just goes over what she learned from the Postman report, her key takeaways. She breaks down, different key elements of the report that really stood out to her as a tester, and with a summary of what the report meant to her. Definitely a good read, and also another must follow if you're not following Beth already on all the socials. Definitely check her out as well. And a resource I always recommend to other folks, and one that's also recommended from a lot of other testers, is Test Automation University. And they actually just announced a huge breakthrough in their platform. Test Automation Online is now the world's largest online software testing education platform, and it just celebrated its 100,000th student. It keeps growing. It's a lot of great content here. If you're not familiar with Test Automation University, it's headed up by Angie Jones at Applitools, and it contains a lot of free video content and training that can keep you up to speed in the latest and greatest with test automation. So a great resource to know, and definitely check it out in the link down below to really accelerate your education in test automation. So all you Cypress engineers, not sure if you checked it out, but Cypress just released a new test runner version 8.70 and includes some new features and bug fixes. So if you're using Cypress, just a heads up that there is a new release of that test runner, and you should definitely probably give it a try because it probably fixed some bugs that you may be dealing with, and it has a new feature that allows users to overwrite tests with an option to change the default behavior to overwrite existing screenshots without having to set an overwrite for each sci.screenshot command. So if that's something you're struggling with, grab that latest release and you'll be all set. So every year I release my top trends for test automation. I've been doing this since 2015. So if you want to get a sneak peek, I'm going to be actually doing a webinar with Applitools on the test automation trends you need to know for the new year. And this is just a lead up to a blog post I do every year on testguild.com. But you can get a sneak peek here by joining the webinar. and finding out what my top trends are that you need to know to kick off the year right. So definitely register for that event. Once again, the link is down below. Next up, performance and site reliability news. And so as we head into the holiday season, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you start to get a lot of news stories around how sites go down because they weren't able to handle the capacity or the workload that's being put on them. But here's an article that came my way that kind of reminded me that Black Friday and Cyber Monday is coming, and is your team ready? So I think if reading these type of articles kind of gets you not nervous, but maybe can light a fire on you to say, hey, is my application ready for the holidays? Because I don't want to be featured in any news item on why my site went down. So definitely a good read on how Roblox went down all weekend and some key aspects of the server issue that caused it, the timeline, and some statements of what happened. Some people were speculating it was due to the promotion they were doing with Chipotle, and that does not seem to be the case. And what's really bizarre is usually you have an outage for an hour or two, but this outage was down for 3 days. So I'll have a link to this because it keeps updating it as it goes along with a timeline on what they found. Something to keep an eye on to see what caused it, because sometimes what caused one outage may apply to you as well. And if you're in site reliability and performance, this is definitely something you need to keep an eye on, especially as we head into the holiday season. And that article was first reported to me on LinkedIn from Stephen Townshend. Stephen Townshend is interesting because he was a hardcore performance engineer that took a new role as a site reliability engineer. And he's the one that posted this article. So if you have anything to do with performance testing or site reliability engineering, how to get up to speed with site reliability engineering, Stephen is definitely a must follow. So thank you, Stephen, for that post. So a bunch of my nephews and nieces stayed at my house a few weeks ago, and they're obsessed with Pokemon Go, but they were a little upset because I live in the middle of nowhere. There was no Pokemon for them to catch. I don't understand the game, but I wondered, it seems like a lot of people are obsessed with this game still after many years. I always wondered how it was able to handle all that stress of multiple users jumping on the system. And I found my answer in this article on how Pokemon Go actually scales to millions of requests. It's actually posted by an advocate at Google, Priyanka, and James, who's a senior engineer manager at Pokemon Go. And the video has a great breakdown on actually how their infrastructure server team handles Pokemon Go, how it's set up. Really great information here on Kubernetes, Cloud Spanner, a bunch of different techniques that they use to make sure that their application stays reliable, up and running, and able to handle all these requests. So I think this is definitely a must read, and definitely check that out also in the links down below in the comments. Next up, security testing news. This next article talks about how the next generation of application security is needed. And what I really like about this is how it makes the distinction between autonomous is not automation. And the distinction is autonomous application security testing enables intelligently to adjust its testing techniques to the specific needs of each application, not a pre-built test suite and no size fits all type of approach. And the tool that they're actually pushing here is called AppSec on Autopilot. Never heard of ForAllSecure, so just something to keep an eye on if you're looking to do some autonomous security testing. And it's a good approach. I think that if you're not doing security testing at all, it's one of the things you definitely should have part of your testing toolkit. So definitely check that out also. And this last security article I actually missed. It was actually a news article that was released a few weeks ago, and it's all about following the money here. A trend I've been seeing is application security. Here's a key indicator on how this trend is actually a thing because the money is being spent. It's flowing that way. And it is how application security testing firm Invicti Security raised $625 million. Security is a hot topic, and you definitely should be involved in. So the tool NetSparker is designed for enterprise web application security testing with a large number of integrations and high scalability. A lot of money is going in testing, but it seems like a bulk of the money is going in the security sector. So definitely, if you don't know anything about security, I think it's definitely an awesome skill to have as we enter in the new year also. So that's it for the news items for the week of October 31st. If you haven't already, definitely go in that comment down below, the first one, and click to create a free account with Applitools to help increase your automation testing coverage with an approach that you won't be able to get any other way leveraging AI with visual testing. Definitely a technique that you should be using for sure. So definitely create a free account now. And that's it for this episode of the Test Guild News Show. I'm Joe, and my mission is to help you succeed with creating end-to-end full-stack pipeline automation testing awesomeness. As always, test everything and keep the good. Cheers.